Hello everybody, welcome to Is a Hot Dog a Sandwich podcast, episode 1, co-host Jalen. What is your stance on whether or not hot dogs are a sandwich?
Well, when you think about it, a sandwich is basically 2 pieces of bread with meat in between them, and a hot dog is baked bun, right, and meat in between. So, is it really a sandwich? I don't know.
It's a great question. You're on the fence about that. Now, I say you gotta have all that extra stuff. You gotta have your lettuce, your tomatoes, your pickles,
You
your
want
cheese.
lettuce, tomato, cheese on hot dog.
Well, if it's gonna be a sandwich, then yeah. But we're just playing. This is the WhattaPlay podcast, episode number 5, the Super Bowl spectacular. We'll call it. Why not?
But Super Bowl was anything far from spectacular. Unless you're a Buccaneers fan, which I'm surprised something actually exists.
Or unless you're a Brady fan, which we know the Patriots fan base was rooting for.
They were doing the equivalent of stalking your ex on Instagram after you're broke up. Doing this over here.
Cups of roses.
It was broke. Wait, do we play an AD? No, not really? Okay.
Do we play maybe? Alright, but yeah, Super Bowl happened. Kind of had someone on the party. It was alright. This guy was there. My sister was there. My girl was there. It was really nice. We had a good time. With that said, do you want to get us started on the recap or shall I?
I'll get started. Alright, so obviously, as we all know, Super Bowl 55, Super Bowl 55 past Sunday in Tampa Bay, Buccaneers versus the Chiefs, and obviously we all know Tampa won their second ring franchise history, beat the Chiefs 31-9, and for this one, it had a little bit more history to it, with the Buccaneers now becoming the first team to win the Super Bowl in the home stadium. But we'll get right into it. Watching the game, we were all hyping it up to be this offensive showdown and whatnot. Mahomes versus Brady, go first baby go, as they were calling it. And if you remember correctly, we didn't pick the Bucs.
We did not pick the Bucs because we are some dumb yucks. Note, I said the yuck. YouTube don't ban us. We both picked the Chiefs.
And as we all know, Tampa Bay's defense showed up and showed out and shut down.
Tampa said, "Get shit on."
But yeah, so basically, nonetheless, Patrick Mahomes, he put up reasonable stats. He won 26, 49, and 270. No touchdowns though.
I think
that defense did throw. They can throw the ball twice.
Yes, and I think that is worth noting that baby goat Mahomes had no touch. On the other end, we have Thomas Edward Brady Jr. He went 21 for 29 at 201 passing yards, 3 TDs.
2 to Gronk and 1 to Tony Brown.
1 to AB. AB.
Yes, I am.
But yes, also adding on to that. Let's see.
Again, going off of Tampa defense, Big Mahomes throwing the ball twice. They also sacked him 3 times. And those big name weapons on offense, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, they were shut down. But also on the Chiefs side, they committed a lot of penalties, especially in the first half. Committing 11 penalties for 120 yards, something that we do not see from Kansas City at all.
No, very rare.
And I think really the turning point of this whole game was when Tyrann Mathieu started throwing back at Tom Brady, and Brady started throwing back at him. And we watched Tom Brady play long enough to know that you piss on Brady, you basically screwed. And Brady did what Brady does. His now 7th Super Bowl ring, making him thinking him have more Super Bowl rings than all the NFL franchises combined.
Yes, and let's talk.
Super Bowl MVP as well. So going into that,
before we do, let's talk about how historic that is. This man has more rings, as you said, than any other franchise, not than any other player. Franchise. That means
franchise like the Travis Scott song?
yeah, something like that.
Alright.
That means he got more than the Steelers. He got more than Dallas. Hell, he got more than my Ravens. He got more than your Cardinals. I don't even know if the Cardinals got one, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that is pretty impressive. And as I put it before the game started, before the game, leading up to the game, neither of us like Brady. But the respect has to be there. Maybe not so on your end, but at least on my end it is.
Well, I guess after this game, since this is on our live broadcast, will I ever like Tom Brady? Absolutely not. Some hatred will still be there, but as the saying goes, stats don't lie. 10 Super Bowls, 7 victories, as the quote from Anchorman goes, deep down, everything else to me, I hate you. Goddamn, do I respect you. So, Brady, consider yourself lucky because I guess he just got my respect by winning that 7.
I think hell just froze over, y'all.
Carlson got a Super Bowl for that.
Right.
But, I mean, kind of wrapping up the Super Bowl, I mean, legacy-wise, you know, we just talked about Brady. What does this really mean? Okay, so, backtrack. You look at, you know, the players on that roster who have rings. Gronk has his 4th. You know, the long-term guys that have been there forever. Mike Evans, he finally got one. Chris Godwin got one. Devin White, he's only in the league 2 years. He just got one.
My boy Fournette got one.
Yeah, and again, you know, going off of, you know, the cast of characters on that roster, Leonard Fournette, he got cut by Jacksonville in the offseason, picked by Tampa, he now, like I said, Antonio Brown, all of his off-field antics. People will say that he probably won't even be in the league ever again. He won't have to play down the league ever again. He now has a ring.
Right.
Shady McCoy has his 2nd ring.
Well, speaking of Shady McCoy, interesting fact here. The man has played 0 snaps in either Super Bowl he's appeared in, but yet has won 2 rings.
And John King Sue, a name that I think a lot of people kind of, you know, forgot about. He's finally a Super Bowl champion. And kind of, you know, the end that kind of personal for me. My boy Kenyon Barner, the former Duck, he now has his 3rd Super Bowl ring.
Also, former Cardinals coach.
Bruce Arians, he got his 1st ring, but another guy on that team, he also got his ring. The name that I'm not too fond of, Tom Bowles. Hey man, why can't you do that stuff in New York? Like, come on. After leave that team, you know, we kind of had.
He left that team like my dad left.
You know, we kind of had, you know, a scout defense, but yeah, you had to leave.
Yes. And moving on from that note, shall we talk some NFL honors and see how accurate we were on those predictions?
Oh yeah, let's talk about some NFL honors.
Let's talk about it. We live, baby.
So again, Super Bowl Eve, as you call it, the 10th annual NFL Honors Show went down with Steve Harvey doing what he does.
I like last year's host better. No offense. Paul Rudd.
And, you know, going off through the awards, Aaron Rodgers, his 3rd MVP award.
What was the 4th?
His 3rd.
Okay, this is 3rd.
2011 and 2014. Of course, he won his past season.
Can I say, I called that.
Good job, man.
We all did. Not all of us. There was somebody saying it was going to be Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, we were talking about him on the show. But, you know, yes, Aaron Rodgers during the MVP award of his career. Derrick Henry, offensive player of the year for the first time in his career. Obviously, I co-host he's not too fond of the King, but
the King got held to 40 yards. He had 2,000.
2,000 yards. You know, it's an incredible feat. Whatever team you root for.
Jamal Lewis did it before.
It's hard to do in the NFL, especially in today's. Props to King Henry for winning his first offensive player of the year. Now, in terms of defense player of the year, some controversy is thrown that Aaron Donald beat TJ Watt out for that award.
Can we both agree he was snubbed? I hate Pittsburgh with a passion, but TJ Watt was snubbed.
He was, and I mean, like we say, you know, stats don't lie. You compare the two. Yes, Watt and Donald's stats were basically similar this year, but Watt had fairly better stats than Aaron Donald.
And his brother JJ even pointed out, TJ missed the game and still had the same stats or similar stats, as you said, to Aaron Donald.
I mean, granted, taking nothing away from both of those guys, two of the best players in the league at their respective positions. And obviously, a long time ago, starting back, there was also controversy surrounding the Offensive Player of the Year award. I mean, Offensive Rookie of the Year award.
I'll let you speak on behalf of the offensive rookie of the year award first, and then I will chime in.
Alright, so honestly, as y'all can see, the grin on my face that I got when I mentioned Offensive Rookie of the Year. Former Oregon quarterback Justin Herbert did take home Rookie of the Year honors, shattering rookie records for most touchdowns, most passing yards by a rookie quarterback. All biases aside, you know, all cool for my guy Herbert. I'm taking nothing away from Justin Jefferson, who a lot of people,
Myself included.
You know, Jefferson, in his own right, he broke a lot of rookie receiving records. You know, but I'm gonna let you speak your piece on that.
Am I salty that Herbert won Rookie of the Year? A little bit. Do I respect Herbert? Yeah, I do. Do I think Jefferson should have won Rookie of the Year? Yeah, I do. You look at the statistics, and that's not taking nothing away from your boy. Jefferson almost put up 1,500 yards receiving. He was named to an all-pro team as a rookie. That said, props to Herbert.
And then, I mean, going off of that, something that I personally have seen is how a lot of fans will say, oh, Rookie of the Year is a quarterback only thing, when Saquon Barkley really won Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. That's neither here nor there. Both players had great seasons, and both players will obviously be a part of the future of this league.
Defensive Rookie of the Year is the next one I want to get into.
That will be Chase Young of the Washington football team.
I do believe that is one of them.
It's still weird. It's still weird saying that Washington football team. But looking at Chase Young this season, he had a heck of a season for a team that a lot of people basically wrote off for all these reasons. You know, the name change, this and that.
Cultural stories that were coming now, or lack of whatnot. But yeah, been a hell of a first season for your football team. Heineke.
Yeah, Chase Young, man, definitely take nothing away from him. A great season. He's definitely going to be, like I said earlier, he's going to be the big defensive star player that the football team hasn't had since the late great Sean Taylor. So far, he's filling that role quite well.
Also, the last two we're going to speak on is the Walter Payton Man of the Year, and also we'll talk Coach of the Year. If you know assistant head coach or assistant coach of the year, feel free to speak on that one. But which one do you want to get into first?
We'll get to the Man of the Year award, which did end up going to Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson. Now, if you guys know Russell Wilson, he's one of the greatest people in the NFL. I would say he's definitely one of the good guys. Visiting, Children's Hospital, whenever he gets a chance, always working with the community in Seattle area. It's definitely well deserved. I definitely think that it's been a long time coming for Russell Wilson, and I think I can speak on being very here saying that they definitely got it right this time.
For sure. And now, as you said, Russell Wilson has always given back to that community up there in Washington, across America, outside the United States. I have no hatred towards the man. Obviously, he is a division rival, if I have that correct.
He is, but before I switched over, I've had nothing but respect for Russ, and the battles that he and Jalen have for the foreseeable future, they're definitely going to be must-see TV for sure. And this past season,
I mean, to be fair, Mr. Wilson did lead your team to an 11 record in fantasy football. That's not taking anything away from you. That's actually no. But moving on, we will get into Coach of the Year. And I think if you look back on episode 1, me and you both called this as well.
we did.
Guy up in Cleveland, right?
Cleveland.
Your boy Bacon. Your boy Bacon is head coach. Won Rookie of the Year. Not Rookie of the Year, scratch that. Still stuck on Jefferson and Herbert. He won Coach of the Year. How do you pronounce the man's name? Kevin Stefanski.
Right. Again, y'all can go back to our first episode. We both called Stefanski win Coach of the Year. He turned that Browns team from the laughing stock of the league to damn. Oh, actually,
Damn, son, where'd you find these? Personally, being a Ravens fan, and my team's in the AFC North, the Browns gave us one of the Browns-Ravens. Regardless of what you think of the teams, that was one of the greatest football games regular season this year. But we will get into that later. I have nothing but respect for Cleveland. Yeah, we took your team. It is what it is. Y'all got your team back. We didn't get the Colts back when they moved. It's neither here nor there. But yes, mad props to Stefanski for winning Coach of the Year. Well earned, much respect.
And switching from the NFL Honors to this year's Hall of Fame class, which was revealed this past weekend. Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Alexander Calvin Johnson came out of that class. Derrick, you personally speaking, Peyton Manning has always been one of your favorite players. Didn't he get you into the game of football?
Peyton Manning most definitely did get me into the game of football. Believe it or not, story time for y'all. My freshman year of high school, I had an English project to do. It was a tell-all about one of your favorite characters. Could have been from a movie, TV, sports. I don't really watch a lot of TV, don't really watch a lot of movies outside of like superhero stuff, whatnot. I asked my teacher, I was like, can I do this on a sports figure? She said, yeah. She said the only condition is that it's 2 players. So naturally I picked Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. The only thing I didn't like about that project is I was new to the game of football. Like, I had just watched the Ravens lose to the Patriots in the 2011 AFC Conference Championship game. So yeah, but anyways, I did not know that Peyton Manning had switched from the Colts and signed a contract with Denver. So I did mid-project. Still got an 88 on that. But yeah, Peyton Manning, one of the greatest to ever do it. I still remember personally the year after the Ravens won Super Bowl 47. We didn't get to play at home. We had to go to Mile High Stadium. And this man threw 7 touchdowns on our team. And Spain, but without the S.
But yeah, he is the reason I got into the game of football. He is the reason I do this here right now. One of them. Much respect. It's the reason that 18 is one of my favorite numbers along with the number 4. That said, what do you think of Mr. Peyton Manning?
Mr. Omaha?
Omaha!
I mean, you basically hit it around the head, man. He's definitely one of the greatest to play the game. Definitely one of the greatest players of our generation.
For sure.
We can definitely call him our generation. 5 MVP awards, 2 rings. I do remember back in 09, he did the Jets to go to school, which still got fresh in my mind, but nonetheless, he's also a class act, off the field, all the work he's done at Indianapolis and Denver communities.
For sure. And backtracking off of that, I do remember another tidbit of information. After the Ravens had beat the Broncos on the road to Super Bowl 47, double OT, Peyton Manning waited in the locker room to talk to Ray Lewis and tell him how much he respected him and the game and whatnot. Also, Peyton will be going into the hall with one Mr. Ray Lewis, so I think that's pretty cool as well.
Again, Peyton Manning, he's also one of the funniest players in the NFL on the field. I mean, we've all seen his nationwide commercials. We've seen him in his Polygon commercials.
Please.
Actually, that's what they do right now.
Right.
But again, Peyton Manning, one of the greatest, finally getting his gold jacket. Again, among the headliners, Charles Wilson, Megatron Calvin Johnson, John Lynch, former Bucks and Broncos safety, he's in. Drew Pearson, he's finally in. And Tom Flores, former coach of the Raiders, I think he's one of the first Hispanic coaches in the league. He's finally in. So yeah, this year's Hall of Fame class, Honors.We.
I think we need to speak a little more on one Mr. Charles Woodson and one Mr. Calvin Johnson. Charles Woodson, if I have his career correct, played safety for a bit, corner, safety, played both positions. Man played for the Raiders, played for the Packers, right? Tracking him. Personally, he's always been one of my favorites. The man was a ball hog. He was hard-hitting, dominant on the field. Now, Calvin Johnson, I think it kind of came as a surprise when he retired somewhat early.
I mean,
Much like before him, Derrick Sanders had done the same thing.
like I say, Detroit Lion players, the only noble players to play for that franchise, they end their careers early. I mean, let's be honest, it's Detroit.
Fair point. But Megatron, as they call him, that man gave a lot of DBs, a lot of safeties, problems. Jimmy Smith shut you down, though. Sorry, I had to.
And then, going off of my point of view, Charles Wilson, even for the NFL, won a Heisman, won a national championship with Michigan. Yeah, Michigan fans, but then you watch it. It's been that long since I won a national championship. But again, Charles Wilson, one of the greatest to play at his newest positions, finally getting his gold jacket. And Megatron, definitely one of the greatest players of our generation. I mean, he got that in Megatron for a reason, man. Just the way he went up and got the ball, the way he basically bossed defenders. Him and Stafford were definitely one of the most underrated duos in the league for a while. And I mean, like I said, it is kind of surprising that he's getting his gold jacket this early into his eligibility for the Hall, but he's in. So, yeah.
For sure. And let's switch over to some NBA for a little bit. Come back to football later on. Just put a pen in that. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the 2021 NBA All-Star Game happening. There has been talks, as it stands now, to my knowledge, there is an All-Star Game happening. That said,
these guys, please just ignore what I'm doing.
he was out frame. This looks a little uneven, so we're gonna fix that. I'm gonna call a Hail Mary on the podcast.
All right.
There we are. So yeah, the All-Star Game's happening. There have been a lot of notable players who have spoke out against it. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, I think Giannis spoke out against it. Harden. Kyrie might have, but nothing Kyrie does. Actually, that's a lie. Everything Kyrie does surprises us nowadays.
Yeah, Kyrie's a weird guy.
Yeah, third eye.
But yeah, so basically going off of that, a lot of players have spoken down about their displeasure with the league including an All-Star Game, kind of just smack dab in the middle of the season. It's not, I would say, it's not going to be as planned out like a regular All-Star Game weekend.
Yeah, I believe if I read this correctly, they're going to go back to the West versus East format, not the Giannis, LeBron format that they've been doing.
Yeah, right. And, again, it's not going to be a typical All-Star weekend. We're not going to have
a 3-point contest. We're not going to have the dunk contest, most likely.
It's more than, as far as we know, it's more than likely it's going to be a straight up game.
Yeah, most likely.
Again, the players just voicing their displeasure. You say, you're giving us all these protocols, telling us, do this, do that. But yeah, you want to play an All-Star Game smacked out in the middle of the season.
In a pandemic.
And again, kind of backtracking. For the Super Bowl, the NBA basically released a note saying, hey, if you're going to watch it, you got to stay at home. Can't be going out to another watch party or whatever.
Nah, but yeah. So the NBA All-Star Game, as it stands, is happening. Penciled for March 7th in Atlanta, Georgia, the Dirty South. What are your thoughts about the All-Star Game happening?
Well, as far as we know, it's still going to go down. Now, as far as LeBron and Giannis, they're voicing their displeasure, they have a right to their opinion. But, you look at, the votes, those guys, they're at the top in their respective positions. Those guys, they're going to be voted in. I think my thing is, are they going to go as far as to boycott the All-Star Game? All-Star games in every sport is, best of the best against each other. And as we've seen from All-Star games in the past, it's, there ain't no defense. It's matchups that we really see every once in a while in the regular season. But
also, Drake, you probably don't watch this, but yeah, please don't. Wait, I don't care if you do actually. You took away one of the greatest All-Star photos from us by getting in the way of it, and that doesn't sit right with me. And we're not going to get that photo again now because Kobe Bryant's dead.
Travis Scott would never.
Yeah, Travis Scott would never do that. Eminem would never do that either. Lil Wayne might do that. He did mention it. So. But that's it. What I think of the NBA All-Star Game happening, it's tradition, man. It's like the Pro Bowl. We didn't have a traditional Pro Bowl.
You basically had everyone play each other, man.
Yeah, we had everybody play each other in that, and they could go that route with the NBA players and have everybody play 2K, but that's boring to watch. As I've stated on a previous podcast, there's only really one person who I will actually watch stream games, and that is my girlfriend. Shut up. But yeah, also sticking with the NBA news. It's a little late, but let's talk about courtside Karen.
Yes. Let's talk about courtside Karen. So, at time of recording last week, as the Lakers played in Atlanta against the Hawks, a fan, now known as Courtside Karen, her and her significant other kind of exchanged for work one LeBron James, and obviously it went viral. And so you being, you know, a little member of the Late Show, how do you feel about it from a fan's perspective?
From a fan's perspective, you were there to watch a game and have a good time. You don't get in players' faces. Sure, bickering and arguing with them, being like, man, you suck, whatnot. That's fine. But sitting there and calling somebody the B word, the A word, the C word, all this, that, and the other, especially when she later came out on social media and said that her husband was the reason she was doing that, it doesn't sit right with me. Which also begs the question, how far can fans take heckling?
Now, we've all seen instances in the past where, you know, fans, they'll say, you know, that one word that will get on the player's skin to actually get a reaction from them. We've seen it with Isaiah Thomas, with a fan who probably said something to him, but he wanted frosty. We've seen it with Russell Westbrook plenty of times. Kind of go back in the ball here, we even had Marcus Smart back when he was at Oklahoma State. Y'all remember his incident with that one Texas Tech fan where they've got a little physical between the two. But going back to your main point, there definitely is, you know, a restriction on what you can say to a player. So yeah, you spend X amount of money for courtside seats. They're expensive. They're, you know, they're having a good time watching a game. You know, yeah, you're probably gonna be, you know, yelling at, you know, guys like LeBron and Giannis. Luka, you're probably gonna be yelling at them, hey, you suck, you stink, you know, stuff of that nature. But don't go as far as to basically, you know, cuss them out or bring up some personal business just to get a reaction from them, because it really ain't worth it, man.
Also, because I know he watches this podcast. Buddy boy, stop calling NBA players and NFL players out on Instagram. It's not nice. But yeah, my thing is, you can't say certain things. Like obviously, if let's say either of us were in the NFL, NBA, NCAA, right? We're playing our high time. Yeah, if somebody's like, let's say you lost a loved one or something, and somebody's like, perfect example, 2012 NFL season with the replacement price. New England Patriots fans, all on social media, all throughout the week, Torrey Smith had lost his brother tragically in a dirt bike accident, I believe it was. And you had Patriots fans saying, we're glad your brother died, this deserved to be you instead of him. And you know what Torrey Smith did? He didn't start anything with any of them. He played his heart out. I think he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns. Don't remember the yardage because that game was long ago. But that's how you adhere to that. And sure, you have the guys like your Ocho Cinco's, your Terrell Owens, Prime Time. We have Marcus Peters. He's kind of arrogant, cocky, and in your face. You have who else who is hurt? Like across all. Machado, kind of in the MLB.
Patrick
Beverly, he's in your face. He's a dog. He's like.
He wears black Air Force Ones.
He wears black Air Force Ones apparently. It's not like DMX. We're the hood.
Yeah, I mean, go, you know, piggybacking off of that, I mean, like I said, there is a limit. You know, I'm not gonna, if I want to attempt a game and, you know, my team's one up against, you know, say, Tom Brady or LeBron James, I'm not gonna, you know, yell and talk about loans, you know, anything that adds towards, you know, Tom Brady or LeBron James, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. You know, we're there to have a good time. We're there to enjoy the game. Well, I'll probably say, you know, hey, you stink or something like that. I mean, yeah, that's part of the game.
You want to call him a hoopy head?
Something like that. But, you know, I mean, wrapping it up, there's a limit. You know, basically, there's no limits.
Also, this man can't say half the things he would want to say that he says in text between me and him or text in our group chat. Because this man will get mad, baby.
basically just low limits, man. That's all there is to it. Now, one thing I kind of do want to talk about between me and you is while the NBA season is going strong, I would like to hear your input on the Lakers so far this season from your perspective, and I'll give my perspective on the Spurs. So, I'll start with you guys who are unfortunately the reigning NBA champions.
Reigning NBA champions, baby. It says so on the hoodie. 17-time champions. Sorry, 17-time champions. Jalen, I know it's a little hard for you to count. That's 1, 5, and a 2, which equals 17. Okay. Not 1 plus 5. Not 1 plus 5 plus 2. We're not here.
Okay, I get your point. Okay, but
anyways, from my perspective, they've hit some snags. They don't. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't seem as dominant as they did last year because they do. I remember you saying at the end of last NBA season you were hoping LeBron was going to retire. Funny boy, that ain't happening. We signed AD to what, 5 years something?
and LeBron is taking his contract as well.
So
So
LeBron also extended his contract.
King, I guess, is going to reign for another 4 years.
We got Schroeder, which he's a nice additional piece. We got Mark Gasol. We had, back in the day, we had Pau Gasol. I think that's pretty cool. Kobe got to play with Pau. LeBron gets to play with Mark. Also, who's some other pieces? Yeah, we re-signed KCP. He's pivotal to that offense, somewhat on the defensive side. I like where we stand right now. It seems like we're gonna be in the playoffs, which you know I stuck with the Lakers through it all. Through the bad season, through Kobe playing on a bad knee, through Jeremy can't seem to win. Carlos the loser boozer.
Nah, we ain't going.
Nah, we're going to. We are going to disrespect Jeremy.
No Jalen slander.
First Amendment right, look it up. Jeremy can't seem to win. He does have a ring. I never said I don't like him as a player. He just couldn't win when he was on the Lakers. Blue Will. I actually went Blue Will when he played for us. But he doesn't play for us anymore.
That's for the name for y'all neighbors. Votes.
Yeah,
So,
but anyways, I think we're still in a pretty good position. Might be a good review, baby.
as the saying goes, there's also always wishful thinking. Now, kind of going off of what you said. Yeah, I got LeBron, I got AD. You got some nice.
Oh, wait. We got to go Alex Caruso, too.
Y'all have a nice, supporting cast out there. A whole lot. You got Schroeder, Gasol, Kuzma, Caruso, KCP, Jalen, or how do you say his name?
THT.
Yeah, him. Nice little supporting cast. You gotta have that nowadays. Shout out to Dryer.
Buzzer beater.
But you know my opinion on the Lakers. Never been a fan of them. But all that aside, there's still a lot of game to be played, and who's to say that we won't see the Lakers back in the finals this year? Now, going to my Spurs, they've definitely been playing some good ball this year. We our young core is finally getting some PT. That young core consisting of Deontay Murray, Lonnie Walker, Derrick White, Kellyan Johnson, and then some other key pieces. Devin Vassell, he's putting in some work. Patty Mills, we still got Patty Mills. He's putting in some work as well, and we got some notable wins. We got a nice little win against the Warriors last night. We beat the Lakers at one point in time of the season. We beat the Celtics. I mean, yeah, it's one win, as people will say, but as I've been saying, it's baby steps.
I'll put it this way: a broken clock's right at least twice out of the day.
It's baby steps. And I'm really just happy that Pop is letting the young guys play. That was definitely a big problem from as a fan perspective from last year. Is that the young guys like Walker and White and Johnson, they don't get X amount of minutes, but you gave most of the minutes to DeRozan, Aldridge, Dejounte Murray. I mean, Murray's been there a while. And, Rudy Gay, he's still there. But this season is a lot. So far, it's a lot better than last year. I've been saying this. Derrick can vouch for me on how San Antonio has probably the most underrated young core in the league. And I know a lot of people might sit there and say, "Man, that's not Pop. I ain't underrated." But we really are, man. I mean, look at the NBA. Yes, they will cater more so towards the star talent of the league, which that's every sport. But as long as this young core continues to develop, we got that veteran leadership there with DeRozan, Aldridge, and Rudy Gay. As far as out of this season, we are uncertain on whether or not all of those guys will be there. Obviously, they're all up there in age, and in basketball years, they're all up there as well. But hey, San Antonio, starting to get some brighter days down there. We finally got the Fiesta jerseys that we've been wanting for so long. Maybe that's been a big reason as to why we're playing a lot better this year. But granted, we are at the bottom of the well, not at the bottom. We're kind of hovering around 6-7 seed, but we're leading our division, which I mean in a way really ain't saying much considering the fact that the Rockets are on and off. Dallas is, they're kind of on and off as well, as much as it pains me to see, Luka go through that. The Pelicans, they got Zion, but they're not really producing. And then, the Timberwolves, again, I mean, Timberwolves, they got a young core, but, injuries and then, Cat dealing with COVID, it's not really the same. But, I mean, hey, it's still Spurs Nation over here, and brighter days do look to be ahead for us.
All right, and one more piece regarding some NBA news, and then we'll switch it over. Derrick Rose got traded again.
Got traded?
Did you not know about this?
To where? Where'd he go? Back to Chicago, probably?
Nah, take a wild guess. I'm breaking news live and on air. I didn't know he didn't know. It's a team he used to play for. Stephen A. Smith, there's you one him.
He went back to the Knicks, didn't he?
He got traded back to the Knicks. Y'all gonna put some respect on my boy Derrick Rose's name. It's not his fault he got hurted. I feel bad for the man. The man was an MVP in Chicago. A lot of people, this isn't me saying it, but you had some people saying he was the second coming of Jordan.
Derrick Rose and his prime was the face of the league. I remember when he won MVP. This is back when I really started following basketball more like I do now. I remember, just those few years with, LeBron in Miami. Yeah, I remember out here being, either a D-Rose fan or a LeBron fan. I was a Derrick Rose fan. I'm still a Derrick Rose fan. I really hope that he goes back to his old MVP form, even though, basketball years, he's up there. The injuries.
We've seen bits and pieces of him being back to his MVP form. I think the one game he had where he dropped 50-something last season, I believe it was, if not the season before that. But Derrick Rose, always been a basketball player I've looked up to. Somebody I respect immensely. Also, I haven't finished reading it yet, but don't take it personal. I haven't finished Kobe's book either. Buy Derrick Rose's book. It's called I Show You. You can get it at your local Target.
Damn, you didn't finish Kobe's book?
I didn't finish Kobe's book. I'm sorry.
Him and Gigi looking down at me, shaking their heads right
Like
now.
this.
It's like that one meme, like, ain't finish my book. Sorry, you are.
I haven't. That's why I can't find the shoes anywhere. It's God punishing me.
That's God punishing everybody.
Sure.
Kobe fans, sneaker fans like myself, I can't even get my hands on a pair. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay, let's talk about a classic. We're switching to video games, but of the sports nature. I know this put a smile on your face when you saw the news.
We got it back. NCAA is coming back. We got it back.
NCAA. The last NCAA, which for those of you that don't know, is the college football games. The last one that was made was NCAA 14, which was made back in 2013. The new one won't be out until...
So EA, they did break the news last week that they are in development of a new college football game. It's going to be for the next gen consoles, so PS5, Xbox Series 1, you know, especially the new consoles. So you and me, we're going to have to upgrade.
We're going to have to upgrade, baby.
But the game itself isn't going to come until at least either 2022 or 2023. I think by EA, you know, doing that, that's basically them saying, you know, we're not going to rush it. We're going to actually, you know, take the time to develop it, you know, make it a game worth playing, as a lot of fans have said on social media, you know, don't make it like Madden. I know a lot of people have voiced their displeasure about Madden for one reason or another.
And I think, speaking on Madden, I will be in the middle of playing Madden. I'll be on the phone with my girl. She'll be like, why are you playing this? Because it is repetitive, but I love the game of football. Ball don't lie. That said, NCAA was nothing like Madden, which is why a lot more people, including yourself and myself, were drawn to it. I know I used to love spending time sitting there making my creative character. I personally always liked to be the QB for LSU. That was my go-to. It was a scrambler, kind of sort of like a Big Ben type.
Right, and you know, again, you know, go kind of reminisce on some of our NCAA football memories. You know, Road to Glory. A lot of people were big fans of that. You know, you basically get to play the whole senior year of high school, getting recruited, going D1. You know, and they even had the whole Ultimate Team thing, which for those who are familiar with the term, is basically where you kind of have to go online to do it, where you can basically draw like past college players and place them all on one team. So you could basically have, say, Tim Tebow, Herschel Walker, Tim Brown as a receiver. Basically, you know, college greats all on one team.
I think the closest thing since NCAA, the game has been away that we've gotten. It was either in Madden 20 or Madden 21, where you can play as one of like 6 different college teams. But I'll tell you right now, it ain't the same. It doesn't have the same feel. Like, yeah, it kind of feels like it when you're playing and you see the LSU uniform or the Clemson uniform or the Hurricanes uniform. That said as well, let's talk about, because it's been a minute since the game's been played. Let's talk about some players that we missed out on playing with. Your boy Murray, my boy Lamar. We didn't get Lamar. That would have been, who else?
We also missed out on playing, you know, with Baker, Saquon, Deshaun. You know, the big name guys that we all, you know, watch grow up within the past couple of years.
Pretty much any of the big name guys you've seen get drafted, that's a skills player, a defensive player. We missed out playing with those players. So I think, let's pitch this to the NCAA game or the creators. Make all-time teams. Make an all-time LSU team. Make an all-time Oregon team. That way we can get to use those players.
They actually did do that way back in the day. They had some all-time teams out there. Like they had, you know, all-time Miami, all-time Ohio State, all-time UT, all-time LSU, all-time Oregon. That was way back in the day.
Bring it back.
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. So I mean, hey, EA, you know, y'all come across this video and y'all use that idea.
Pay us our money.
We need our cut.
Like you cut, G. All right, that's it. I think that said, obviously, with Super Bowl 55 being over, we are kind of reverting back. Yes, before we wrap up the football season and say goodbye to it, let's talk about our favorite moments from our respective teams. Are we talking all-time teams here?
So basically, I guess for our annual fun segment of the podcast, we're gonna talk about what our most favorite moment.
We can go with either.
So we'll have a two-parter. We're gonna reminisce on our favorite memory from the past season, and then we're gonna get into what sports are we looking forward to as it progresses. So for me, this football season was definitely different as it was for a lot of people for COVID and all that. But for me, especially, the first time that I switched teams, the first time that I was basically rooting for somebody, not the Jets. I did it. I basically did a mid-season. I switched over to the Arizona Cardinals back in October, and obviously I've looked back since. The future's bright down there in the desert, with K1, D-Hop, Kingsbury. You're still iffy. Buda Baker as well. Kingsbury is still iffy to me, man. You still gotta show me something. But in terms of my favorite moment from the past season, obviously it has to be Hail Murray, man. And what sucks for me is I was working the day of that game, right? So you're always watching, at work, watching bits and pieces, and I kind of left to go do something. And, I was thinking, we lost because I saw Stephon Diggs score at the go-ahead. I'm thinking, man, we lost. And then, I come back and it's like, oh, man, we won. Of course, I'm like, how we win? And then I go on everything, Twitter, ESPN, all that. It's, DeAndre Hopkins caught the Hail Mary to win the game. And I'm like, oh, man, we won. And I'm like, man, I missed it. But
Missed it like Billy kind of missed a field goal.
Nonetheless, man, that's definitely my favorite moment from the season. It did end up winning, Player of the Year and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, we missed the playoffs, but like I said, the future's bright down there in the desert.
Yeah, for sure. Now, going on to, because I have two teams, as one knows. I have the Baltimore Ravens as my AFC. I have Green Bay as my NFC. You could pick and choose a lot of moments from the Ravens season. Nobody thought they were going to make the playoffs this year, back when we were like 6-4, I want to say. Something like that, or before them when we were like 3-5 or 3-4. I don't remember the exact record. You could choose Lamar coming back from cramps.
That's what we're calling it?
That's what he's calling it.
We all know.
To score the go-ahead touchdown to Hollywood Brown, which led to Tucker's game winner. You could choose Trace McSorley, back when we had our cough issues, scoring a 70-yard touchdown pass to Marquise Hollywood Brown. But I think on the Ravens end, you know where I'm about to go with this. People have been saying, what about Lamar for the past couple of years? He couldn't win what?
You couldn't win a big game.
He couldn't win a big game. Which, before that happened, before what I'm about to say happened, he won big games. We'll talk the 8-0 Boogeyman Patriots last year. We'll talk your Pops 49ers. We'll talk the football team, I guess is who they are now. But yeah, we'll talk, we beat the Bills, and the Bills were good. Not this year, but that's a story for a different day. My favorite Ravens moment is Lamar Jackson getting his first playoff win. That's the first of many to come. I know you want to sit here and say that's cap, but I'll tell you right now it's not. He used to be one of your favorite players. I'm not going to get into all that right now. We'll do that when we debate Kyler versus Lamar. Y'all got that to look forward to. On the Green Bay side, Aaron Rodgers winning MVP, man. You love to see it. Like, easy money. Yeah.
So we discussed with you guys our favorite moments from this past season. And so with football being over, we're gonna discuss, what sports we're gonna be looking forward to as the year progresses. Obviously, we're watching NBA right now. Baseball, I guess I can say I'm looking forward to baseball. I'm a Yankees fan. He's an Orioles fan. We're not gonna talk about them, but.
Oh no, we are going to talk about them. I think we're going to start a weekly column called "Did the Orioles Win Today?" And it'll just be yes or no, and we'll have a sound effect for it.
Yeah, that's in the budget. But
Carry 2 divide by pi. Continue.
Right, and so baseball season is around the corner. I'm, like I said, Yankees fan, Orioles fan. I've had the same feeling going into the past couple of seasons. The feeling of being, this is going to be we win in 28. This year we're going to win our 28th. The past few years we've had to endure the Astros ending our season. We had to deal with the Red Sox ending our season. We had to deal with the Rays ending our season. But in the offseason, the Yankees have acquired a lot more pitching, which has, been the one area that they've struggled in. But, hey, there's always hope. I mean, all the major sports networks, they always, predict, Yankee drives the World Series. Hopefully that finally comes true, man.
Go Dodgers.
The last time Yankees won a World Series, I was in 5th grade. I vaguely remember it. Aaron Judge is my favorite baseball player. So, here's to hoping that they finally win 28. And besides that, kind of a sport that I really don't follow much of nowadays as I used to, as I discussed, in last week's episode, how much of a big Derrick Jr. fan I was when I was younger. I still follow NASCAR vaguely from time to time. Like I said, I don't watch it that much as I used to, but the season is around the corner. Daytona 500 is coming Sunday. I don't have a favorite driver, so to say, but I guess I can say, balls like Kyle Busch. When I was younger, that Eminem's car. I was a little kid, man. What do you expect me to do? But Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, he won the championship last year. So just following the sport, just checking in on who wins, kind of reminiscing on the good old days for me with that.
Yes. I think on my end, the sport I'm most looking forward to with football season being gone. That means if y'all in a relationship, fellas, ladies, if you're into sports, you're into football, you're going to have to spend time with your significant other now. What y'all going to talk about? The stock market?
Your feelings?
I talk to her about our feelings sometimes. Don't call me out with that. I just work here, man. Anyways, the sport I'm most looking forward to is Canadian strip poker. It's live, baby. Nah, I'm messing with y'all. So I don't really care for baseball too much. Jalen can attest to that.
Why don't you care for baseball too much?
Baseball is something that is better to go and sit down live and watch. It's not something you sit and watch on a TV to watch them go, dink.
So basically what I'm saying is you don't really care for baseball because the Orioles suck?
No, that's not at all what I'm saying. I was an Orioles fan when they sucked the first time. I was an Orioles fan when they had that little playoff run, 2012, 2016. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, Yankees fan, Orioles fan, rivals. It's kind of lopsided, though. Anyways, that said, I'm looking forward to NBA basketball, college basketball here within the next month. Will we get a Sweet 16 this year?
So as far as we know with college basketball, I'm glad you did bring that up. With college basketball, as long as there isn't really an outbreak or a serious outbreak of COVID, NCAA did say that there will be a tournament this year, but as far as the men's side goes, it's gonna all be in Indianapolis. So
we're making brackets.
yeah, so Final Four at Lucas Oil Stadium, but in terms of the games, it's gonna kind of be like a bubble top scenario, like with the NBA. It's gonna be played at, so they're gonna be most of the games played at Butler University, which is located in Indianapolis.
Okay.
I did hear that they're gonna play some games down at Indiana University, in Bloomington, the Hoosiers, and possibly some games down at University of Purdue. He's obviously a Maryland Terrapins fan. I'm a Louisville Cardinals fan. We did beat Kentucky this year, so very happy about that. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think, like I said, Sweet 16, NBA. And personally, I've kind of gotten into UFC a lot over the past year. You know, quarantine hit, didn't have much to do. Dana White went and bought an island so he could do all his UFC fights.
Do you have a favorite UFC fighter?
Currently, no. But as I get more into it, I have some coworkers and stuff who are really into it. As I get more invested into it, I'm sure I will. With that said, I think that baseball, I'll watch it because obviously it's something we're going to cover on the podcast. And to our female audience, we have discussed it. We know we've been talking a lot of the male side of sports. We are going to be discussing female sports. So that's your WNBA,
So basically, there are a lot of women's sports out there. WNBA is the main one. We will talk in a future episode. We will debate the importance of women's sports. The Olympics is coming up. Some controversy surrounding that. We will also talk about that in a later episode. Really, women's sports, we're both for it. That's as much as we'll say about it.
for the time being.
I mean, if anything, I'll say that I'm a Sabrina Ionesco fan, and I guess I will follow Louisville women's basketball since they're doing really good this year as well.
There's a reason he said that name. I don't know what you heard about me, but a girl can't get a date out of me. Because he's a mother trucking SIMP.
I mean, she was going like Kobe too, so.
That is cool as hell though. But I'm for women's sports. Co-host Jalen is for women's sports, women in sports. Obviously on my Twitter, I follow a lot of female analysts, sports announcers, athletes, whatnot. But yeah, Co-host Jalen, anything you want to say to our fan base before we wrap it up for the night?
So we actually did come up with a new channel going forward for the podcast. Kind of some technical glitches with the original one.
Yeah, I think personally we were running the videos off of my personal channel. And I like to listen to music and stuff on my YouTube, so we don't want to get that crossed in with our sports content. So I did go ahead and took the liberty of making a new page. It is going to be the WhattaPlay, there's a space, podcast. We now have a business email, WhattaPlayPodcast@gmail.com, all lowercase. Follow us over there if you're subscribed, or subscribe to us over there if you're subscribed. We'll tell you to follow the socials later. It'll be linked in the description of the video. Any other things you would like to say to the fan base before we say
Good night. So again, we do appreciate you guys checking us out. Again, there's still some bumps in the road for us, but you gotta start somewhere.
we do gotta start somewhere? And I think you'd be happy to hear this. Remember that first video we did? It is currently sitting at 100 views.
So we got our first major accomplishment. We finally got a video at triple digit views. So shout out to you guys. We do appreciate you. I mean, hey,
Also,
somewhere, starting somewhere.
For sure. Those of y'all coming across the page, if you like what you see, subscribe. We don't bite.
Unless it's food.
Pain. I'm getting a new brother. Anyways, much love to y'all. Remember to eat your prayers and say your vitamins. Yes, I said that intentionally.
You're gonna confuse the youth.
So, remember, children, never eat the yellow snow. But for real, much love. We do appreciate y'all checking us out. As Jalen said, you do gotta start somewhere. We have talked about getting like an actual setup, soundproof walls, mics, but that costs money, and old Scrooge McDuck over here don't like spending that.
Hey,
But he will for the podcast. Because he does it for y'all. Because he cares. Because you're what? You're a what guy?
I'm a great guy. A real great guy. Get the word with it.
But anyways, I was saying, we do appreciate y'all checking us out. It means a lot to us. You gotta start somewhere. This is something we do for fun, but we do want something to come of it as well. This is what I've been going to school for the past, we're in 2021 now, so 2-3 years. It's been some bump and grinds, but I know not the song. There's been some bump in the road, but it's been a journey, man, and we hope you do join us on this journey. So, Jalen, you want to tell the audience good night?
Good night. Drive home safe.
Mask it or casket. Don't eat the yellow snow.
Hold your loved ones close, all that good stuff.
Tell somebody you love them. And if you ever, personally, I have some people close to me that have been going through some stuff. If you ever feel like you need to reach out to somebody, do so. You're not going to be a burden to that person. That person is probably going to be glad that you took the time to reach out and talk to them and vent to them. We don't want to see anything bad happen to any of our fan base, family, friends, loved ones, significant others, anything of that nature. So as co-host Jalen said, grab a loved one, squeeze them tight, tell them you love them. I think with that, we are going to be wrapping up for the night. So, eat.